SpaceX is worth $350 billion and it's not even public yet. Pause. When that changes and the clock is ticking, it won't just move one stock, it's going to accelerate a power trend that most investors are completely sleeping on. This is your edge for the week ahead. Here's what I'm going to show you in the next 6 minutes: the hidden connection between SpaceX and the most important sector of this decade, the three price levels that will determine whether we rip higher or fade, and the exact setup institutional money is positioning for right now before retail even knows what's happening. Let's get into it. First, let's talk about why SpaceX matters beyond the obvious. Yes, it's the most valuable private company in America. Yes, Elon Musk has been dropping hints about a potential IPO, but here's what nobody's connecting. Pause. SpaceX's Starlink division alone is projected to generate $10 billion in revenue by 2027. That infrastructure requires ground stations. Those ground stations require power, massive amounts of power, and that's just one company. Now stop for a second, because this is where it gets interesting. The real story this week isn't SpaceX itself, it's what SpaceX represents. We are entering an era where electricity demand is growing faster than any point in the last 50 years. AI data centers are the primary driver. A single large language model training run can consume the same power as 26,000 homes for an entire year. Pause. That's not a typo. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, they're all racing to lock up power capacity, and they're struggling. Grid operators across the country are rejecting new data center applications because there simply isn't enough electricity to go around. This is creating a supply squeeze that most investors haven't priced in yet. The power infrastructure sector has quietly outperformed the S&P 500 by 18% over the last 12 months. Utilities, grid equipment, manufacturers, nuclear plays, they're all moving. But here's the thing, we're still in the early innings. Goldman Sachs projects U.S. power demand will grow by 2.4% annually through 2030. That doesn't sound like much until you realize demand was flat for the previous 2 decades. The trend has reversed. And when trends reverse after 20 years of nothing, the moves are violent. Now let me give you something actionable, because I know that's why you're here. 3 levels to watch this week. First, the S&P 500. We're sitting just below all-time highs. The 5,900 level is resistance that matters. If we break and hold above it on Monday or Tuesday, that's your green light for risk on positioning. If we reject hard, expect a pullback to 57.50 before buyers step in. Second, watch the XLU, the utilities ETF. It's been consolidating for 3 weeks. A break above $78 signals institutional accumulation is accelerating. That's your confirmation that the power trend is being recognized by smart money. Third, and this is the one most people will miss. Pause. Watch the uranium names. Cameco, the uranium ETF URA. Nuclear is becoming the consensus solution for baseload power that AI demands. Any policy news, any hint of regulatory fast-tracking, these names will move 10% in a day. Now here's where I tell you something you might not want to hear. This week has headline risk. Jobs data on Friday, Fed speakers throughout the week. Any surprise could override the technical setups I just gave you. That's why position sizing matters more than prediction. You don't need to be right about direction. You need to be positioned so that being wrong doesn't blow up your account. The SpaceX IPO Catalyst isn't confirmed for this week, but the speculation alone is drawing attention to the infrastructure bottleneck that makes power stocks inevitable. When SpaceX does go public, it will bring a flood of retail money into the space sector, and every single one of those investors will eventually realize the same thing. Pause. None of it works without electricity. That's the power trend. That's why I'm positioned for it. And that's your setup for the week ahead. If this breakdown gave you an edge, subscribe right now and turn on notifications. I release these market briefings every week, and the viewers who act on this information early are the ones who actually build wealth. Hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.